Now, joining us now to talk a little bit further about the lockdown restrictions being lifted is Lucky Ntimane, representing the alcohol industry. Lucky, good evening and thank you very much for joining us tonight. Well, the president moving the curfew from 12 to 4 a.m., something that is certainly, I'm sure, welcomed by your sector, including going into normal trading hours, following, of course, the raising of the excise duties for the alcohol sector by the Minister of Finance.
Good evening, Thabo Mdluli, and good evening to Newsroom Africa viewers. Firstly, we'd like to take this opportunity to really send our heartfelt appreciation to the healthcare workers who have really carried the country on its shoulders to ensure that, we reach the stage that we are in now, which is alert level 1. We really appreciate all the good work that the men and women have done in that health sector space. But also we acknowledge the work done by SAPS as well as various liquor boards in all the 9 provinces to ensure that there is compliance on the ground and that liquor traders do comply to ensure that they support government's efforts in fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic. We say thank you. So yes, indeed, we are relieved that, the retail sector will be able to operate over a 7-day period. We feel that this will be, a way that helps them to recover, having not traded for the past 19 weeks, combining all the lockdowns that we had to face. And we feel that, this move by the president will also allow the industry not to share the jobs that we are anticipating as a result of the excise duty that were announced by the Minister of Finance. So this is welcome news. We really appreciate that the president has really taken our pleas to heart and allowed for the full alcohol trading to resume.
Now, of course, this also places a lot of responsibility on the sector, does it not, Lucky? Because initially in December, when we saw the numbers rising, justifiably or not justifiably so, alcohol consumption was to blame for those numbers rising.
I think the problem, Thabo Mdluli, is the irresponsible usage of alcohol, which is a problem. It is the abuse of alcohol, which continues to be a problem. And this is the issue that we need to confront in a collaborative effort in partnership with our social partners, with SAPS, with various liquor boards, to ensure that we deal with this issue decisively once and for all. The issue of alcohol abuse is something that we cannot afford to sweep under the carpet. It has reared its ugly head in the midst of a pandemic, but we need to confront it. So there are programs that we're running on the ground that are supported by the alcohol industry that talks to issues of compliance, issues of responsible consumption of alcohol, as well as drink and drive. We feel that this program, fully implemented, will really be able to make a difference and ensure that we do not head into another lockdown going forward.
There have been many suggestions around the alcohol sector, particularly participating in the vaccine program in some kind of way, as opposed to just standing by and allowing government to do it, but maybe make your own contribution as to how you can assist government to get those vaccines in, because ultimately, I suppose it will be beneficial to your sector. What is the conversation around the table?
I think the alcohol industry, most certainly the manufacturers, are best placed to be able to assist government. If you look at your SAB, which reaches over 60,000 customers across the country, their trucks deliver, to 5 ends of the country. So those obviously could be utilized at best for government's purposes. And also, if you look at Distel, which is the second biggest liquor manufacturer in the country, we feel that, those should be consulted. The CEOs, I know that they stand ready to be able to assist in all efforts of government to ensure that we are able to fully vaccinate our people. So, we have been reaching out to government, so that we can find ways and means in which we can work together. And I feel that this is the best opportunity for government to really sit down with the alcohol industry so that we can look at ways in which we can best assist, especially around this important issue of vaccination.
Nightclubs still not open. Probably going now for a full year that they've not been operational. What's the conversation with that sector?
I think the issue of nightclubs is really a sore one. If you look at the fact that nightclubs have been closed since the 26th of March, all the livelihoods that are linked to that space have really been decimated. We just feel that government needs to come to the party and support those nightclubs that are not able to operate. There are lives that need to be fed, from those spaces. But, I think this is something that we'll take up with government to make sure that if nightclubs continue to be closed, there needs to be a support that comes in to be able to plug in that gap. Livelihoods needs to be sustained, and this is not a way to do it if you are not going to allow nightclubs and yet you're not offering support to be able to alleviate the suffering that the nightclub owners are suffering, including their workers.
All right, Lucky, I appreciate your time and thank you very much for joining us tonight, representing the alcohol sector there, Lucky Ntimane, welcoming the decision tonight by the President, but also applauding our healthcare workers and the role that they have played, particularly in getting us where we are as far as the numbers are concerned. Meanwhile,